America.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is the King Iron Podcast, hosted by myself, So Touch the Poet, and my brother,
Son Solex.
Happy weekend, everybody. I don't even know what day this is going to air, but happy weekend, just in case it airs on the weekend. As always, follow us on whatever podcast platform that you choose to subscribe to. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Like, subscribe, and share. Son, so let's take it away with the rest of the business.
Hey man, you guys can reach us at KINGANDEYE369 at gmail.com. Again, that is KingandI369 at gmail.com. If you guys have any topics you want to discuss, if you want to be a guest on the show, just reach out to us and I guarantee you we will respond back. We can also be reached at Patreon. If you guys want to contribute to the show, we have a Cash App. So again, everything that comes to us goes directly into the show and not our pockets. But anyway, thank you for the love and the support.
Yes, I echo the sentiments. Thank you for the love and support. We greatly appreciate it. Greatly appreciate all the guests that we've had so far and looking for more to come. But let's get into the topic today. I don't know what we're going to call this topic, but for the sake of conversation, let's just talk about the future of technology. Let's just go with that.
Yes, sir.
How you feel about technology today?
So we know technology is forever changing, it's forever growing or expanding, as they say. Mild examples are, future with cars. A lot of EV vehicles are on the road, obviously, with Tesla and a few other smaller companies that I can't name right now. But we know that it's on its way. I think it's a good thing, but I also believe it could be a bad thing. And the reason I say it's a good thing is because technology is forever shaping our world. It's making things easier to a certain extent. Of course, the younger generations, they learn faster because the technology is more to their liking, or they're growing into growing with the technology, whereas we have to basically learn the technology. But the reason I say that it could be a bad thing is because a lot of the old ways or the older technology wasn't bad. What I'm saying here is, if we get so dependent upon new technology that some of us forget how to do things the old way, like you forget how to learn how to, to navigate a boat in the middle of the sea because technology is so damn advanced, that's a bad thing. If we have technology that's gonna be driving our cars and we up in that sun gun sleeping, and for whatever reason that technology fails, we get into an accident, that's a bad thing. I mean, there are all kind of reasons I could go on about why technology at some extent could be a bad thing. It's endless. But just like technology can be a bad thing, it also has a very extensive list of good reasons why. So how about you?
As far as technology being a bad thing on this, in some cases, people are too dependent on technology. as far as people forgetting how to do things, you have to realize that at every stage, with every advance in technology going back to primitive time, the old ways tend to disappear. If you look at farming, for example, things in technology have allowed people to do things more efficiently, but being more efficiently means that things are being done faster in greater masses. So we become so dependent on technology that it kind of handicaps the natural order of life.
Right.
So when you mass produce or mass breed chickens, cows, pigs, this, that, and the other, you don't allow nature to cleanse and refresh itself naturally. Then with other aspects of technology, then, there's a lot of things that people used to do that they will not do, because it's like, bro, why do I have to get up and do this when I can have such and such do this? But outside of that, you just have to realize that it's gonna change. And the bad things, they can't be grouped to what you're saying, but it has to be really expanded, because seriously, a lot of the bad parts of technology are detrimental to the lives of everyone on the planet. So that's how I look at it.
Yeah. The only reason I say when it comes to nature is there are certain things that nature are supposed to take care of. Like how you were saying how chickens are being grown damn near overnight when it comes to technology. Like, how is that natural? Back when I was growing up, being from Alabama, we always... Well, my grandparents always had chickens and pigs and farm animals, as they say. So, growing up in that experience of just watching, chickens go from little beaties, as they call them, to a full-grown chicken, and watching my elders, kill a chicken, for us to eat that night, or whatever the case may be. I guess for me, it put a light on it of saying or seeing, from start to finish, what's the natural order of things,
Right.
But when chickens nowadays are basically put in incubators and grown from the time that they're hatched to the time they're fully grown, it's a matter of damn near hours and days now, as compared to months or weeks, or however you want to put it. That is really disturbing the natural order of things, and especially when they start injecting these chicks with all these damn hormones and things of that nature. So people really don't stop and think that, I'm eating this chicken, yeah, it comes from KFC or Popeyes or whatever the case may be. But we know, or our old people are smart enough to know that, this chicken was not naturally grown. So with those steroids or whatever the case may be being injected into that chicken, we too are consuming that. People don't stop and think about, the effects of that. And that's why, technology can be a bad thing.
I think technology was a good thing case may be, to farm cotton and all this, that, and the other. Cotton gin came into play, and you get more cotton in a day than you are with these people. So that put, that change in that area. Mm-hmm. So that's a good thing for technology. I hate to use that example, but that is an example of more efficient, agricultural work.
Right.
Now, as you were saying about, cars driving themselves, this, that, and the other, the thing about that, although there have been accidents, a lot of the stupid, irresponsible accidents are less from that. Because you don't hear, well, I personally don't hear too many times where, oh yeah, well, the Tesla was in self-driving mode, and this happened and that happened, and these cars with lane departure and lane correction. I don't hear a lot of accidents from that. But hell, like just when I was on my way back in the house, I'm behind this car, and they swerving and tires hitting up on the curb and in the middle of the street, this, that, and the other. And it's like, this person is driving the car. Now, had that been a Tesla or a car with, lane departure warnings and lane correction, this, that, and the other, car probably wouldn't have been drifting back and forth. You also have to look at, and I don't say try this at home, but let's just say you out drinking, and you turn that thing on in your car, and your car is driving straight. It's stopping at lights and this, that, and other. You're not getting tickets. Again, don't try this at home. But I'm just saying that with technology, you drunk and you behind the wheel of your car, and just look at it. You have to keep your hands on the steering wheel at the very least in these cars. Just look at it. Just look at that part of it.
Yeah, I get that, right? My thing is, again, when we make technology so damn easy or easier for people, some people, they just refuse to think. Like, they depend on the machine now. So, as where before you actually had to go through a process of doing things in a certain or particular order in order to get the necessary outcome effect that you're looking for, now you just push a damn button. Everything's damn near automated. So only thing now to do is push a button, let the machine do what it does. But when that machine fuck up, in a lot of cases they aren't teaching you what to do when the machine fuck up. Meaning your goddamn car is driving by itself, and for, again, whatever reason, things malfunction, you over there goddamn sleeping. Next thing you know, your ass going off a cliff or some shit. So I'm sure there are certain warning, lights and buzzers that will be put in place, for those cars that will be there, meaning driving themselves all the time. But there's a cost that's associated with that, because they're not going to report all the people who were killed in a process of making that technology relevant or efficient. They're not going to report that part. They just chop that up to necessary business, or it's a necessary process to get to where we need to go.
What you're referring to specifically for cars is it's kind of like looking at extreme cases, because we would probably have to look up as far as this part, and
right.
Let's focus on this part. I'm not trying to throw anything extra in there. Mm-hmm. As far as self-driving cars, first thing is, I know damn well you're not taking the driving test with a self-driving car. First and foremost, off the bat. That ain't happening. I know that's not happening. Because you need to know how to operate a car. Secondly, as far as accidents, again, when you look at self-driving cars, there's a certain demographic that these cars are for. Yes, they're more accessible to more people, but I think like Tesla is one of the only truly more self-driving cars out there, meaning that it turns and this, that, and the other. And most people ain't rushing out there to buy a Tesla because they have their own thoughts about Teslas, period.
Right.
And then all the amenities that come with it. A lot of people look at, oh damn, I'm not buying no Tesla's gonna run up my electricity and this, that, and the other. They're not looking at the fact that if you get an electric car, Tesla or whatever else is coming out or whatever is out there, they're not looking at the fact that you're not worrying about oil changes. You're not worrying about transmission fluid changes. You're not worried about all of these other things that are associated with a regular car. With these electric cars, the most that you are worried about on a more frequent basis as far as maintenance is tires and windshield wipers. Nobody's looking past that. They're looking at, I'm not getting that. Oh, my electricity and this, that, and other. Where am I going to charge my car from out and about? They're not. That's all they're focused on. So electric cars are primarily, at this point, at a certain demographic in society. Now, as far as them testing these cars, this, that, and the other, they're not saying, let's make an electric car and just throw it out there. As you see, Tesla has the market on lock right now. Ford just dropped the Mustang Mach-E not too long ago. Lucent is out there, but they are not out there like that to where all that is a problem. And again, they're not putting a car together and being like, all right, let's just throw it out there. So, and when they test these cars, they're tested on closed tracks with experienced drivers, so to speak. So the likelihood of these accidents and stuff happening out in public, as far as testing, I think they're minimal. But outside of that, when it comes to technology, again, we gotta realize that technology is not going to be stopped. And my thing is this: it's on the individual to be able to retain or have a firm understanding of basic survival and basic adaptation to life in general. I don't care when you were born. Like, if you were born 10, 15 years ago, you were not born and growing up with the skills that we had 20, 30 years ago. So you might have life easier and more efficient than us, but at the same time, some of us have been on this planet longer, so we know how to do the same things that you're doing, just differently.
I agree. I'm not saying that technology won't move forward. We all know you can't stop technology. But my only gripe again is, like the old additive, they say, in order to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs. So I get that part of it. Meaning, as far as materialistic things or, the damage of a car. But again, when it comes down to one person dying for the sake of technology, I don't get that part. I don't think it's worth any human life for technology. I will say this. at my job, it's a very dangerous job, a lot of the things that our safety department realizes or have come up with newer and better technology in the safety department is because usually someone either died or they lost a finger or they lost a hand or they came out crippled. Something along that line. You get what I'm saying? It's kind of like they only came up with this safety new device because someone lost their life behind it. Or in certain situations, someone actually got hurt. But that's kind of like what I'm correlating it to. Someone actually had to lose their life in order for them to, in some cases, make the technology better. And that's the part that I'm disagreeing with. Should it come to someone losing their life to make the technology better? No, of course not. But is that going to stop them from continuing to perhaps put human life in these situations? No, it's not. It's kind of like test pilot, Air Force pilots. They say that their job is one of the most dangerous jobs, on the planet because they're testing these new jets or rockets or whatever the case may be. So it's kind of like they walk into it knowing that, if this equipment fails on me, it's basically going to be on me to make the right decision or determination to get myself out of that jet, meaning eject in time, and prayerfully that works. But I remember when we were growing up, there's a lot of controversy around the Air Force because a lot of pilots were losing their lives because their jets were certain mechanisms in them or certain functions in them weren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. So there's a big cover up about that. I wish I could remember what year that was and what exactly was surrounding that. But the point that I'm making here again is the jets that we have now are off the chain. They're not rivaled by many other countries. But it took the loss of life to get to this point that we're at now. Is it really worth it?
Pick on that. And
all right.
Before I respond, we at that point we take a break. Again, this is the King and I Like podcast hosted by myself, so such a poet, and my brother.
Sounds so Lex.
It's gonna be an interesting conversation. I see. It's gonna be an interesting conversation.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna go back and forth and rebut each other's input, and it's gonna be fun. Because I see what you're saying, but I do have a rebuttal. But
correct.
We'll be back. King and I Like podcast. Hey, you know what to do. Hit us up wherever. We'll be back.
We out here in these streets.
Yes.